So, with the 2023 election campaign creating new political heroes and increasingly the spirit of pluralism, how far behind the frontrunners are the smaller parties lagging? And are the Nigerian people getting the space to choose the kind of leader they want? Because so far it seems like the really big guns, the political campaign ballistic missiles, are being fired mostly by the four frontrunners amid the increasing echo of protests and the growing frequency of provocations aimed at themselves. So are the 14 other parties that are also competing in this presidential election being denied the space to properly express themselves? Are Nigerian voters loudly and clearly hearing their message? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the National Publicity Secretary of the Young Progressives Party, or YPP, Egbeola Martins. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Charles.
So we are in the thick of the campaign season. How's it going for your party, the YPP?
Yes, we are on ground, and we are moving across, and there is a kind of organic way we are approaching and meeting with the electorate who will decide the fate of the presidential candidates in this race. And we are engaging them. We are speaking to issues. And you can be rest assured that we are not having just 4 frontrunners, but 5 frontrunners.
I like that. Well, I have to say that your presidential candidate is very impressive, Malik Ado Ibrahim. I mean, he's a very intelligent young man and clearly very well exposed. But do you think you are measuring up in the stakes? I mean, I hate to say this, against the big 4 front-runner parties, APC, PDP, Labour and NNPP?
I think the YPP is not really getting the due credit that she deserves.
Well, we're not seeing a
yes,
lot of you, are we?
Arising from 2019 with what we did, I think we are not getting much credit. We happen to be the only political party that brought the best candidate in 2019, and we've replicated the same thing in going to 2023 election.
It was Kingsley Moghalu, was
Professor
it?
Kingsley, yes, Kingsley Moghalu, and I think we should be commended for leadership recruitment process that drew up the best, highly cerebral individuals, as you have attested to Malik Ado Ibrahim. And I can tell you that we are very much in this race. We are doing what we are supposed to do. We know Nigerians are more aware in comparison to where we are coming from in 2015, 2019. And they know what they want. And I can assure you that Nigerians will look beyond those who are responsible for their past.
Well, the problem is that those 4 parties appear to be firing very big guns. In fact, somebody said they were firing ballistic missiles compared to your AK-47s. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but that's basically the analogy that was made. I mean, do you have a strategy for countering their rather ubiquitous presence across the country?
Yes, I can tell you that we are doing a lot quietly, and beyond the media presence that you see for our candidates, we are reaching out to critical stakeholders that will be key determinants, in the 2023 elections. We are galvanizing support across the nation. And I can tell you that, yes, ballistic missile, well, there's an analogy, but I know there's a weapon that is more dangerous, yet could be small. And we are talking about an atomic bomb.
And what is that weapon?
So, atomic weapon,
no,
nuclear weapon.
But what is what does that weapon represent?
In this case, it represents speaking to the heart of issues that Nigerians are familiar with.
But you still go on.
And just as you said earlier on, the issue of poverty It has risen from 46% to 63%.
I'm going to get to the poverty issue in a minute, but for you to make those points that you're saying and communicate your message to the people, you need to be seen and heard quite a lot. Do you think you're getting the right sort of media space to put across your message, as much space as the 4 other parties that are said to be in front, or do you think the media are giving you less space?
Well, we may not be the only one affected. If you would do critical analysis, you understand that we are even having our fair share. We are competing compared to some other candidates of other political parties. And I think the media can do more in engaging, our presidential candidate, as you have, over time have engaged him. And that was why you were able to get first-hand knowledge of his capacity.
Yeah, but isn't it up to you to push for that space? Because I did, today, for example, I'm the one who called you guys. I mean, the previous times we've had your presidential candidate, I'm the one who called them. Whereas a lot of the other parties, the APC and all the rest, they're constantly ringing us.
Yes.
And saying, we can give you this person, we can give you that person. Labour are doing the same. The PDP, but we're not seeing you guys doing the same thing.
No, we are. The media space is so large. We're engaging through other channels.
Right. So you're ignoring Arise News.
No, we are not.
Right?
We're not ignoring Arise News, but without being tempted to advertise on TV stations and radio stations and newspapers that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you're here now.
Yes.
What is it about your plans for Nigeria and your manifesto that you most want voters to know about?
Yes, thank you very much. You see, for the Young Progressives Party, as it is with our vision, is to build an egalitarian society. And in doing that, we seek to present highly cerebral, individuals as leaders, because we know one of our problems is leadership, and that we've been able to identify. And we want to bring on board people with that vast experience, both locally and internationally, to bring to bear governance. And when we talk about governance, we're talking about good governance.
Yeah, but the people you've brought, they don't have vast governance experience. They've never been in any executive position ever. So they may be intellectuals, they may be academics, but they don't have any governance experience.
You could term them as technocrats. And I think if you watch
but technocrats tend to be better off in appointed positions. In other words, if you make them a minister or something, rather than them being in executive control. At least that's the way a lot of people see it. They want a track record.
There's no known statistics. Look at where we are as a country. We've had people that we perceive to have experience over time. Look at where they brought Nigeria to. So what is wrong in doing something differently? We can't continue to do things the same way and expect a different result.
I understand that. Let me ask you a concrete question then, because you raised the issue of poverty. If your party wins the presidential election, how do you plan to deal with this level of incredible poverty?
Yes, for the YPP, we in the heart of our manifesto is the issue of restructuring. And we know that restructuring is key because the current system is unsustainable. And we'll be telling ourselves the truth if we feel that the problem is just leadership and there's nothing wrong with the structure. There's everything wrong with the current structure. It is a system that we can no longer sustain. Look at the cost of governance, for example. Why do we need this large number of government officials to be able to effectively govern the nation? So the YPP administration will ensure that we cut the cost of governance drastically. I see no reason why the president should have access to 11 presidential jets. Doing what, for Christ's sake? Look at the ministers we have. Look at of recent we heard that they want to also increase their salaries in this time that we are all complaining about poverty. So I would say that we can't be demanding from the citizenry to adjust. Why our political leaders are living in affluence? I mean, it does not reflect what we want to do, and that is what we're going to do first.
And they're supposed to be servants of the people.
Exactly. You know, you have to make governance, you know, not attractive. It's because it's attractive. That's why they queue and they want to do everything to get there. And you can't expect people to spend such humongous amounts to get to governance and you expect them to serve the people. No, they will not serve the people, and that is what we are suffering for today.
So a key element in your plan is
to restructure the country,
okay,
and cut the cost of governance.
Right.
Then we'll address.
And then you'll plow that money into other areas.
Other areas, yes.
I want to thank you very much. I'm sorry the time is a little bit short, but we ran out of time at the beginning because we started late. I want to thank you very much indeed. Egbeola Martins is the National Publicity Secretary of the Young Progressives Party. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.